Yeah, no, I totally agree that we gotta attract attention, and I'm with you fully on that, but I don't know if biting a mailman is actually the way to go here. Because I understand it's a lot easier to get attention for doing something bad or naughty or committing a crime than actually doing a lot of hard work and getting good attention for it. But I mean, biting a mailman, really? I mean, oh, listen, Jesus, I gotta go. Sorry, he calls it awkward times, and we're just talking about how I'm going to attract attention for my work, and he's suggesting that I actually bite a mailman. And he gave this idea to me when I was running the other day. I was running and I saw a mailman, and this idea came into my head. Later I learned it was from Jesus, and he said, go bite that mailman right there. And so the next several minutes I was thinking about this, and I was wondering if it would be better to just go bite him, or if it would be better to arrange with him to bite him first. And so I was thinking, well, what I could do is I could bite myself on my arm, leave an impression, show the mailman how I would bite him hard enough to leave teeth marks, yet not so bad that it would hurt. That way we could take a picture of it, then we could take a picture of me running away on all fours, and then we could even do a mugshot of me going like this. And then I could appear on the nightly news. I'd get real famous real quick for being the guy that bit the mailman, and maybe then attract attention to my work. But by then, all those people that saw my work might shun my work right away, and it would completely go down the tubes, and it would backfire on me. So attracting attention in the wrong way might not be the right thing to do. Obviously, it's much easier to blow up a shopping mall than to do something really good. Another idea I had too was that there's a little footbridge that goes across the highway, and I keep having this idea that I want to get a big piece of cardboard and write real big on it, honk if you like cheese, and putting that above, holding that and, waving to people as they're driving in rush hour into town, and seeing how many people I could get to honk. And that's probably against the law too, but maybe a more innocuous way than biting the mailman. Certainly more innocuous than blowing up a shopping mall. Needless to say, I would rather get positive attention for doing good work than doing something crazy or doing something wacky. When I went to an open mic a few years ago, I think I told a few too many vagina jokes, and I didn't get invited back to be the house bass player again. So you try a lot of different things, and although there's way more disgusting things than doing a few silly vagina jokes, I didn't get invited back for that. So I'm thinking that good, hard work is the way, but it's not attracting any attention. So I'm doing these videos, I got the blog, the website is looking fantastic. It's looked really good for a while, but nobody's paying any attention to it. So my MO is focus on music right now, get attention through music, and then hopefully we can get attention for the ideas of dissolving the dream. Because I am quite confident that my ideas are the best. And I wouldn't have made a website, I wouldn't have paid $2,000 to make this website. I think it's approaching $3,000 now, if I didn't have confidence in my ideas. If I saw another set of ideas that I felt more confident about, I would get behind that person or that organization, and I would voice my approval for what they're doing. Right now, I don't see anything out there better than what I got. That's my own view. We have to look at salvation as a matter of, if I don't do this, it ain't going to happen. And that's the correct view. And it might seem egomaniacal for us to hold that kind of view, but that really is the right kind of view that we need to take. If I don't step up and take action, nobody else will. And that really is the right kind of mental attitude that we need to take regarding this. So, I have full confidence in my ideas. Right now I can't get any attention for them. So I'm doing my best to speak right here intelligibly and hopefully not boring myself or you to death. And I'm trying all these different means to get to people. And right now I'm trying to get my music out there more than anything. Now let me tell you what's going on with my music, because my music is very, very important. It's on my website. There's a number of songs that I've placed on my website because I feel music is so powerful. And so I finished one album, which I showed a while ago. I finished another all-acoustic album. It's all solo acoustic guitar and acoustic piano. There's 2 acoustic piano tracks on there. And right now I'm finishing up another album of all instrumental music, which is more ensemble-based, but very, very diverse. Everything I create has a hook. Hooks are so important with music, by the way. We'll get into maybe that another time. But everything I write has a hook. It has a strong hook. It has something to latch onto. It has something memorable about it. Very, very important in any artistic endeavor to be creative, to get that hook. And it can be a lyrical hook. It can be a melodic hook. Usually it's a melodic hook. It can be a chordal hook. It can be a rhythmic hook. It can be any type of hook, really. So my music all has that. So I'm working on this 3rd album. I have 2 more songs to complete. Pretty soon I should be able to release these 2 albums. And then I have a whole album of singer-songwriter material that needs to be released as well. And so I'm working on recording those next after I finish this 3rd album. Then it'll be 4 albums. And then I have others waiting to be produced as well. So I just want to say that my energy is going mostly to music right now because I see that as the most likely way that I'm going to be able to reach people. Right now, I haven't gotten hardly any feedback for anything I've done. Even the people that are the closest to me, who I've sent free albums to, have not really gotten back to me with any words of praise. Now, if I have this idea that I'm going to save the world, and that I'm critical to saving the world, and I'm not getting any feedback, I'm not getting any help for what I'm doing, then what would the right attitude be? Try something else? I don't know. I'm thinking of every which way that I could possibly do this. If these ideas were enough, the ideas of dissolving the dream were enough alone, they could take off on their own, but apparently they're not. So I'm thinking, right now, focus on music, get attention for music, and hopefully that will drive people to the ideas of saving the world and getting involved with the plan of dissolving the dream. So without support from other people, I can't get this ball rolling. The only thing that gives me contentment in being in this nightmare, however, is getting good, solid work done on a daily basis as much as I'm able to. So even if people are not responding well to my work, I can at least distract myself from the isolation and the pain of being here by actually getting work done. So I'm doing some really, really great music right now. Very, very happy. Big pats on the back for me. And now I will talk about this plant here, which is blocking the view. I think I overwatered it a little bit. It's a little bit droopy. This is a Christmas cactus, and it is blooming like crazy, as you see. It's October 25th. It's a couple months before Christmas. But I took this in from outside, along with about 3 other plants last night, because the temperatures have just started to drop quite a bit. It got into the upper 30s, I believe, last night. And I tuned in for a little bit of the first game of the World Series last night. In California, it was, I think, over 100 degrees at game time, which is about 6 o'clock. I don't know what time they started, 5 o'clock maybe, since the West Coast. But huge, huge difference. And I'm seeing that little mental road I could go down of weather manipulation right now, but whether we should do that or not, I don't know. I mean, salvation has to be a practical thing. Let's get a little ambiance back there with the plant. And yeah, obviously the extremes in weather and the hurricanes we've been having, the fires are objects of speculation when it comes to, are they false flag events, are they being manipulated, blah, 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 blah. What I did a long post about recently was about basic context. And basic context is of extreme importance to us if we're going to solve the problem of the human condition, if we're really going to enact salvation, if we're really going to get the ball rolling here. Basic context. I boil this down to 3. You see that? 3 simple statements, which the first one would be, I am in hell, or this world is hell. Second one would be, I belong in heaven, or my home is heaven. The third one would be, there is a means to arrive home. or I can return home if I desire to. Now these are pretty similar to the Four Noble Truths of Buddhism, if you think about them. I don't remember exactly what they are, but pretty much same kind of thing. It's 3 instead of 4, but one of the Noble Truths isn't really distinct anyhow, so it would be more like 3 Noble Truths. This world is hell. There is a means of me, or I belong in heaven, and there's a means of me returning to heaven. And that's the basic context. So the basic context is that we're in an alien condition right here. Now my mind is going to flat earth theory right now, so let's talk about that for a second. The whole idea behind flat earth theory is a really good one in that it gets us to challenge the nature of reality and saying, well, maybe we've been looking at this all wrong. The problem is then it substitutes one crazy idea, which is this, which is the current model of reality, is one crazy idea, where we have infinite black space, which is absurd. It's just crazy. I mean, if your mind is awake, if your soul is awake right now, you say, infinite black space? Ha ha ha! Bullshit. You just get it, because you get it. And there's nothing else to say about that. But if we substitute one crazy idea with another crazy idea, which is that the world is flat, that the sun is really 3,000 miles up there, and that on the edge of this disk is the polar caps, and the center is like the equator, we're just spinning in circles, basically. We're like I said, we're substituting one crazy idea for another. But it is valuable in that it gets us to look at the current reality that we're in as being absurd and crazy. And so it's valuable in that regard. But attempting to explain it through the power of faulty machinery, aka the human brain, is probably futile at best, which is why I'm not so concerned with answers. I'm concerned with solutions. So seeing the basic context of this is that it's a nightmare, and that it needs to be healed, it needs to be solved. That's the basic context. That we belong in heaven, that there's a means of returning to heaven. That's the basic context. So all of these particular things, like what happened with the Las Vegas shooting, is it a false flag? Is it a hoax? All these questions, I mean, you're just wasting your time. You're spinning your wheels. You're going to research for several hours and come up with a viewpoint that doesn't benefit you or anybody else. So get the basic context. The basic context is this is hell. We're sharing a nightmare together. If you're really good, the littlest things start to give it away. Oh, you stubbed your toe on the chair. Oh, nightmare. Cat shit in the litter box. Nightmare. Little things. Weeds growing in the cracks in the sidewalk. Nightmare. Everything screams nightmare. That's not a happy place to be exactly, but that's why we need each other. That's why you got to lift one another up, because we come to the realization that it's a nightmare. Then we realize that we need massive, massive support for one another in order to deal with being here. So basic context cannot be overlooked if we're going to solve the problem. But like I said, this is not about answers. This is about solutions. So I'm offering the plan, which is my solution to the problem, that this is a nightmare, that we're in an alien condition, that we don't belong here, that there's nothing normal about this, and that we need to solve the problem. My belief is that we can solve the problem. My conviction is that we can solve the problem pretty easily. My conviction is that I have the solution to solve the problem, and more specifically, I am the solution to solve the problem. Looks like an egomaniacal thing to say, but that's exactly the mindset that we need to have. Looks egomaniacal to the crazy shit brain, but to the soul, that's exactly the kind of mental attitude we have to have, is that I am the solution to this problem. Two quick things here. Me in the best state possible for me is the solution. But understanding that that's one side of the coin. The other side is that only in the context of me uniting authentically with others can I be that empowered self that is necessary for the salvation of the world. I gotta stop before 15 minutes, otherwise it takes me an hour to upload this.